so it looks like there's going to be a lot of them tonight. One thing that somebody had suggested that they wanted to hear about was anger now that we have, that we deal with these bouts of intense anger. I get them very, very often. I control them much better than I used to be able to, but I still get them very, very often. I was talking to a friend about a painting I had done, and this was before a brain injury I had. But I was an alcoholic, and I was going through a very difficult point in my life. So my brain was scrambled up, pretty much to the point that it gets to sometimes now. And I'd forgotten about almost everything about this painting, about when it was made, how it was made, why it turned out the way it did, some of the things that went into it. So let me grab it real quick. Alright, this one right here. Alright, so this one I did sitting at the kitchen table a few 3 years ago maybe. While sitting at the kitchen table, I was having a very, very heated argument with my wife. And I flooded. I was so overcome by so much passion and so many confusing, horrible feelings that I couldn't pick out anything. Nothing made sense. Everything I did at that point was manic. I was so angry that I couldn't make sense. Making sense was not an option anymore because the confusion was so much louder than everything else. All the lines in this were drawn very hard, very quickly, almost like tearing at the skin of the canvas. While doing this, not even really paying attention to what I was doing, I had no idea what I was drawing. I wasn't looking at it. But while this was happening and during the argument, I slammed my hand down very hard. And I hit, I think it was something like a ceramic plate or a cup or something, but it broke. And it sliced me pretty hard. Well, one of the things about being an alcoholic is it thins your blood out, something fierce. So when that cut started gushing, it really gushed. But I kept painting. I just kept going. And it dripped over parts of this, probably about a tablespoon or two. And so I just painted it in. And I had totally forgotten about that with this painting. Now, that's something I'm learning how to do now with my anger. My anger happens, and it overwhelms me. And with the point it overwhelms me, it's a horrible cycle. One overwhelming thing overwhelms you more, which then overwhelms you more. And the more overwhelmed you become, the more confused you become, the more angry you become, because you have less defenses to be able to stop the anger, and the more your anger doesn't make any sense to you, let alone the people around you. The anger holds you because it is the brightest, strongest, hottest fire of all the feelings inside of you. Because anger gives you one thing that no other feeling can give you. Okay? Sadness can't give you this. Happiness can't give you this. Narcissism a little bit, but if you think about it, narcissism has to be laced with a sense of anger. The one thing anger gives you is somebody else to blame. Life is so much easier when nothing is your fault. It is a joy when nothing is your fault. And none of us ever want anything to be our fault. I got in a very heavy argument with a very close family member the other night because they were so offended by the idea of being wrong. That's a thing that's wrong with all of us, brain injured or not. This idea that if we're wrong, it invalidates us completely. That's not true. Being called out on being wrong definitely doesn't invalidate us. All it does is bring up a point that maybe we should think about sometimes. Now on this goes on both sides. For the brain injured, we have to forgive ourselves, because we know that it's just something that overtakes us, and though we try our best sometimes, it's going to happen. For the people around us, you need to give us the opportunity to get through it. Keep calm yourself, because you got to know, if you get angry, and I know you want to, it's natural, it's human, but if you get angry, all you are doing is throwing more gasoline on the fire. And trust me, our fire right now has so much crazy, weird chemicals in it. You do not want to get close to it. You do not want to add anything to it. Remove yourself. It's okay. Do it respectfully. When it subsides, we'll deal with it. But and back to the section at hand, to the point at hand, we are the ones that have to deal with it all day, intermittently, little things that we know shouldn't bother us, and those are the things that we deal with. Those you don't know about it. Most people don't know that we do it, but those are the things that we deal with. I want to strangle the checker at the grocery store sometimes, but I know that's wrong, and I'm able to pull it back. Sometimes it's just too much. I can't tell you how many times I've literally started yelling and stormed out of a restaurant because I thought I was hungry. I thought I wanted to eat the moment I walked in. The smell, it made me not want to eat anymore. I was hungry, but I don't want to eat. All the people, the clatter of the dishes. I freak out, and I go from this to a maniac that just wants to get out of there. And I get angry because it's embarrassing. Being this way is embarrassing. That's where most of the anger comes from. It is so friggin' hard to be you and not be you anymore. And, a lot of times the people around us, they don't understand, how is it that we could be so angry sometimes? What's wrong? Everything seemed fine 10 minutes ago. It wasn't fine 10 minutes ago. We were dealing with it 10 minutes ago, but it was not fine 10 minutes ago. We are in a prison all day, every day, screaming all day, every day, at ourselves, in ourselves, to you. It's exhausting. And yes, every once in a while, it's really angering. And every once in a while, we take it out on you, wrongly. Sometimes you don't do anything at all. Sometimes you just don't think quite all the way through before you say something. Realizing that this swell of anger that we feel, it's like Mount St. Helens. Mount St. Helens, before it popped, she swelled. It got bigger. Help us relieve the pressure before we blow. Please. Because as much as you hate us blowing up, we hate it a lot more. Because we're there seeing it with you when we can do nothing to stop it. And then we have to live with the guilt after. That's what anger and a brain injury is.